Hello there. I'm Mad Mike. For those just joining me, welcome. For those joining me again, welcome back. So let me ask you something. Have you ever had like a movie or a TV show that you didn't really know the title of, but you watched when you were young, and it's just been in the back of your mind ever since? Well, for me, this movie has been in the back of my mind for a while. It's called Ring of the Nibelungs. A German film directed by Ulla Idel, the film came out in 2004 and it's based off the story from Norse mythology about the dragon slayer Siegfried. In this film, Siegfried grows up a blacksmith and has a chance encounter with the Queen of Iceland, with both of them falling in love. After Siegfried slays the dragon Fafnir, he learns of his royal birthright and takes the dragon's hoard for himself, not realizing it's cursed. The film was mostly seen on television and seems to have mostly mixed reviews. Hell, the reason I even remember this film is because I was hanging out with my best friend at the time, and we were just scrolling through the channels, eventually stumbling upon this movie. Well, might as well go down memory lane. This is Ring of the Nibelungs. Let's review. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, this is Curse of the Ring. Yeah, so this film actually goes by a couple titles. The original title is actually called Dark Kingdom, The Dragon King, but it also goes by Ring of the Nibelungs, Curse of the Ring, Die Nibelungen, and Sword of Xanten. I'm just gonna call it Ring of the Nibelungs. So our film begins with a young boy waking up to find his town is under attack. As you can see from his casual stroll outside, he's quite disturbed by these turn of events. Woo! If that's going to be the CGI for the rest of the movie, we're either in for a lot of pain or a real treat. Wait, what the hell happened to the music? Seriously, the music just kind of cuts out at this scene, then starts up again, then returns in this scene. The young boy is Siegfried, played by Ryan Slabbert. He's taken away from the castle by his mother, but not before unfortunately watching his father be executed. Little guy's scarred enough already, a little more isn't going to do him much harm. They manage to get out of the castle, but are attacked by the river after being spotted.
Message for you, sir.
Siegfried's mom is killed, leaving him the only survivor. He's found by a man named Ivan, played by Max von Sydow. Siegfried has lost his memory from the event, and even gives him the name Eric. So, our main character is of royal birthright, has his family slain, loses his memory, and then lives with commoner. Already a great start to an RPG. We then go
To the future!
Where the Queen of Iceland Brunhild, played by Christina Loken, is visiting Europe, because it is prophesied that she will meet a man who can match her in combat when fire comes down from the sky. Along the way, she sees a now grown-up Siegfried, played by Benno Furman, who seems to be doing his best Kevin Sorbo cosplay. That night, Siegfried and Ivan hang out by the fire, talking about the gods and humanity's role in the world.
And if they see from up there that we do something that's bad for us, they get furious.
The Christians say their God is all about forgiveness.
The Christians. They're a strange lot.
Brother, you have no idea. A meteor falls from the sky and Siegfried goes to investigate. Brunhild also arrives and the two clash.
Get at him, lad! Leave him asunder! In the Labanza! An uppercut! An uppercut!
Siegfried defeats Brunhild, making him the man she was meant to meet.
So you see, we were meant to meet.
Meant to meet and falling in love are two different things. Okay, whatever. Oh, also, there's a bit of a lovemaking scene after this, but honestly, while it's not that bad or exquisite, just in case, I don't want to get flagged by YouTube, so I'm just going to let Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson show you how it probably went down. So after they get acquainted, Brunhild tells Siegfried that she has to return to home and promises that he will go there someday to be with her.
I promise I will come.
Yeah, I think you already made good on that promise. What? What did I say? So Brunhild leaves and Siegfried and Eyvind head into town. Along the way, they see that the village is burned down. A village burned down in a fantasy film? I bet it was a Cyclops. We also get introduced to our main villains of the story. The first is Hagen, played by Julian Sands. The second is Hagen's father, Albrecht, played by Sean Higgs. And we seem to get a lot of lookalikes here, because these two look like Alan Rickman and Andy Serkis.
And call off Christmas.
I can't bear to bring him out again. What do you mean, bring him out again? It's how you made your living for days.
Albrecht reveals that he knows where a huge treasure is, currently being guarded by the dragon Fafnir. This treasure belongs to immortal beings called Nibelungs, which Albrecht used to be before being cast out by them for his greed. Meanwhile, Siegfried and Eyvind make it to the kingdom of Burgund to present their swords to King Gunther, played by Samuel West. However, Siegfried causes trouble when he gets into an argument with the king's brother Gisheller, played by Robert Pattinson.
You gotta ask yourself a question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
You know, watching Siegfried fight, I wonder, where did he learn to fight? Swordsmanship isn't exactly a natural talent, you know. You need to learn from somewhere. And he sure as shit wasn't taught when he was a kid before the castle was taken over. Did Eyvind teach him? Did someone else? Is he literally a godlike warrior just 'cause? Whatever the case, King Gunther is pleased with the swords and reveals that he is going to try and stop Fafnir. It is also revealed that Hagen is in fact working for the king and hopes to use the king and his men to have the treasure for himself. Man, they really are just writing an RPG here. Siegfried wants to join them, but Eyvind tells him not to. He's only a blacksmith after all. A blacksmith that just went toe-to-toe with a bunch of guys and won. So, in the meantime, Siegfried makes his very own sword from the meteorite he found earlier. In the meantime, the king's sister Kriemhild, played by Alicia Witt, watches him from afar. Okay, not really watches, more like stares slackjaw from afar.
Don't stare at the princess. It's not polite.
I'm not staring. She is, though.
Eventually, the king returns and reveals that he failed to slay the dragon. Well, of course he did. He doesn't have the power protagonist by his side. Once Siegfried completes his sword, he heads off to face Fafnir. Man, I remember that dragon looking way better when I was a kid. So the battle begins and Siegfried manages to draw first blood. Too bad it wasn't on a vital point.
You should have gone for the head.
Eventually, Siegfried wins when he's able to stab Fafnir in the belly. It's then revealed that Fafnir's blood seems pretty tasty. They must have used some molasses when making the fake blood. Oh, also the blood has healing properties, and after bathing in it, Siegfried's body becomes indestructible, save for one spot on his back where a leaf accidentally falls. Why he doesn't just remove the leaf and bathe that spot again is anyone's guess. Siegfried goes deeper into the cave and finds the treasure, which includes the One Ring from Middle-earth apparently. The Nibelungs then appear and warn Siegfried that the treasure is cursed and needs to remain where it is. What sort of curse is it? I don't know, the movie just says it's cursed. I mean, I guess you can say the curse is that the person who has the treasure acts differently. Like they're more arrogant or something like that. But Siegfried doesn't really act any different than how he was before. Plus, I'd feel kind of cocky myself if I just slayed a dragon and gained an invincible body. The only other thing is that I guess it'll also cause someone to be a target of others' greed, but it's a giant hoard of treasure. A curse doesn't need to be attached to that. Siegfried then fights and overpowers Albrecht, claiming his Tarnhelm, which has the power to shapeshift into anyone.
You look really ugly. Then I must look like you.
Dick!
Word soon spreads about Fafnir's death, and the group of Saxons that attacked earlier head out to declare war. Siegfried goes to confront them, and they happen to be the ones who killed his father, allowing him to regain his memories.
Oh, how convenient!
After their defeat, Siegfried splits his kingdom with Gunther's and goes home to recollect. While there, Brunhild sends out a raven as a messenger, and Siegfried tells her the good news.
But I've won a mighty treasure and I want to bring it home for you.
Siegfried, you are the only treasure that I wish for.
Well, isn't that special?
However, Hagen begins to hatch a plot to steal the treasure, and has Albert make him a love potion in exchange for getting the Tarnhelm back. The potion is used on Siegfried to make him fall in love with Kriemhild, who has the hots for him.
You bitch.
Nothing matters now. Except that you love me.
I've stared at you open-mouthed from afar for so long. Now I can do so up close. It is revealed that Gunther wants to marry Brunhild, but she has a test for her suitors and will only marry anyone who defeats her. Siegfried reveals that he's bested her once before, so Hagen and Gunther suggest that he use the Tarnhelm to disguise himself and take Gunther's place. Wait a minute. As far as we know, Siegfried hasn't told anybody about the Tarnhelm. So shouldn't he be suspicious about the fact that Hagen and Gunther know about it? They're practically waving a red flag.
Wouldn't you notice?
Not if you wear that magic helmet of yours.
Either way, Siegfried goes along with the plan, and they head to Iceland. Brunhild is of course confused as to why Siegfried doesn't recognize her, but she accepts Gunther's challenge nevertheless. The two battle on the ice with axes, where if Gunther loses, he will be executed. There seems to be a crack in their plans, though.
Don't tell me. We're about to go over a huge waterfall.
Yep,
Sharp rocks at the bottom?
most likely.
Bring it on.
Brunhild is saved and reluctantly accepts Gunther as her husband. That night, Siegfried gives Hela and Gunther make a blood pact as brothers, where Siegfried reveals his weak spot to them and an eavesdropping Hagen.
It will be raised in no less a toast, and may those who betray that trust die, dishonored and accursed.
Now, what Giselher didn't mention was that he has herpes. They all return to Bergen, where Brunhild sees Siegfried and Kriemhild together. When she questions Siegfried about this, he denies their feelings, much to Brunhild's dismay.
That I, too, will remember our love so little, because I will never know joy again till I forget.
So being so overdramatic over a guy she barely knows that's currently in a relationship with someone else. Yeah, sorry Brunhild, you've currently entered fangirl territory. So the couples marry. Siegfried and Kriemhild have a pleasant night, but Gunther and Brunhild aren't so lucky.
Untie me!
Yeah, untie him. He didn't give consent. After that, Gunther has Siegfried switch places with him again, and asks him to steal Brunhild's belt, which is the source of her power. He succeeds, but unfortunately Kriemhild sees him, and Siegfried is forced to spill the beans. Well, good thing Kriemhild isn't a jealous bitch.
Brunhild, how dare you order the doors of this place closed to me? I am the king's own sister.
Oh, you spoke too soon.
And how dare you refer to my husband as lesser than anyone?
He even introduced himself in Iceland as Gunther's servant.
He certainly served your husband well when he defeated you last night.
So Kriemhild reveals everything to Brunhild, causing a panic and scandal throughout the town. Siegfried, while upset, takes things alright and decides that he and Kriemhild should go to his own kingdom. However, Gunther and Hagen at first wish to banish Siegfried, but Brunhild calls for more extreme measures. Gunther reluctantly agrees to have Siegfried killed when Brunhild threatens to take her own life if he doesn't. Yeah, I don't blame him. Bros before hoes doesn't apply to this situation. So during a hunt the next day, Hagen and Gunther prepare to kill Siegfried, planning on making it look like an accident. Meanwhile, Kriemhild goes to apologize to Brunhild and return her belt, where Brunhild reveals a shocking bit of truth.
Long we were parted, but I could bear it. Because I knew he would return one day.
Same old story. Boy finds girl, boy loses girl, girl finds boy. Boy forgets girl, boy remembers girl. And girl dies in a tragic blimp accident over the Orange Bowl on New Year's Day.
Good year.
No, the worst.
Kriemhild then realizes that Siegfried was in love with Brunhild and reveals this. However, it is too late, as Hagen goes to kill Siegfried.
Great shot, kid. That was 1 in a million.
Siegfried dies, and Hagen and Gunther fight over the gold, which causes Gunther to be killed in the process.
Keep out of this, boy.
Yeah, we've already established you ain't shit. Thankfully, Brunhild steps in when Hagen prepares to stage an impromptu coup.
And finally betrayed, as he betrayed me. Hagen of Tronje.
My name is Brunhild of Iceland. You killed my lover. Prepare to die. Brunhild manages to defeat Hagen, and Siegfried is given a pagan funeral, where he is burned with the golden skull of Fafnir. However, Brunhild also goes aboard the burning ship, committing suicide so that she can be with her lover. And that was Ring of the Nibelungs. It's more or less what I remember it as. It's not a terrible movie. The plot is fine, and as far as I know, a decent telling of the story. The choreography is also well done, and the writing isn't terrible. However, it's not a great movie. The acting isn't anything special, the CGI is pretty damn weak, and while the plot isn't terrible, there are a few plot points they don't really go into that well, namely the curse of the gold is supposed to have. I guess there's something to it if I was able to remember it after all these years, even if it was just a faint on and off memory. However, if you give it a pass, I won't blame you. There are better places to quest for gold after all. Thank you for joining me on this review. Until the next film, farewell.